Is there a color what is the best color?
Usually are the most stable ones.
Hey, I'm Jonathan.
My name is Thomas.
In this video, Thomas is going to show me and you the most important facts about plastics in disc golf. So you'll win every time, 100%, or you'll get your money back. We can't say that, right?
No, for real. We can't.
Why is it important to know this?
It's good because you have different use for different plastics, and you should know which one to use when.
We're gonna look at a short introduction of how a disc is made. The full video is linked in the description if you want to look at that.
It starts with the plastic being carefully measured and blended by a worker, Linda in this case.
It's not always blended. It could be pre-blended by the producer or the manufacturer of the plastic.
To keep a consistent result, the blend is then dried in a 75-degree cylinder for up to 3 hours.
Could be like 120 also. It depends on the different types of plastic.
Without this step, there would be cracks and impurities in the plastic.
That we
After
don't want.
the drying process comes the color blend. The plastic blend and the coloring drops down into the injection cylinder and gets heated up to 220 degrees to become mixed and malleable. The pressure is then set to match the specific mold and plastic, meaning how much force will be pushed into the disc mold. Enough force to fill the mold without spillage.
And that also is very crucial. Some plastic has a higher viscosity, which means it's flowing or whatever easier than others.
When the set pressure is reached, the mold then gets cooled down enough for the robot to extract the disc. Leftover plastic from the actual injection hole is then being removed, and this happens in 2 steps. The disc is then placed on a ventilated surface for 10 minutes. It's at this stage where the plastic contracts and the disc gets its final shape.
It's almost like when you're baking your buns, you put them out and let them cool for a while, and then they get their shape before so you shouldn't really move it or bend it or hold it in your hand when they're really, really hot.
Even though you want to put butter on it and eat it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's do some role play. You're used to this.
Yes.
I've heard of this thing called disc golf, and there's some plastic in it. Can you tell me the basics of it, my good sir?
We have a pricing thing. We have the kind of the grip, if it's like good for the environment. We have, already told you about grip. I think.
For me, not knowing these things, just put the plastic then in the thing and make them all equal. How hard can it be?
I'm honest here. It's almost impossible. And if we're gonna make it super, super consistent, then we have to invest a lot of money in the machine. We have to buy a completely different plastic, which is made for medical use, which are much cleaner material. The price is so high, then you're gonna have just a normal disc would cost $100 easily.
Okay. But what makes a good plastic for disc golf then?
Of course, you have to look at the durability, but that's not the whole story either. The trust in the disc is very important as well. So it's always you have to give or take. For example, this one. This is a medium stiffness. I like that. In our climate, it's perfect for me because I'm a spin putter. In Florida, this would be much softer because it's so humid and hot outside.
Yeah. Does putter plastic actually grab the change better?
Yes.
Does more expensive equals more good when it comes to plastic?
No.
Why is there so many different plastics, so many different grips, so many different weights? Why is there so many different stuff with plastic?
People tend to like different things. That's kind of the thing. You need something for everyone.
Most people start with a beginner set in beginner plastic. We have the retro, and the main thing is it's really, really affordable, but less durable than the other ones. When it comes to putters, it's somewhat of a baseline plastic, but it's just what you want good grip out of it, and that's what you get. So you have the base kind of plastic, and you have the premium kind of plastic like this. And this is really durable, and it has the right kind of grip for when you're throwing the disc, not putting. There's so many variations of premium plastics, but this is kind of the main two. You have the solid one, which has a little bit of better grip, and you have the translucent one, which holds up a bit better, durable.
I mean, it all depends on, like, if you're a carpenter, you have like really worn out hands. If you're like you have like soft, then you need something else perhaps. And also the stiffness of the plastic is also very individual. And also where you're playing. If you're playing in a hot climate, of course, then you need a little bit stiffer disc. The stiffness is kind of the most important thing. What do you like? If you're throwing like power grip or fork grip or what it's called.
Yeah. If you have a good friend, you can go and touch all of his discs, so you get sort of a real sense of the feel of the plastic.
Yeah, I think people will, do that all the time. They're trying their mates' discs or bag or cart or wife.
What? Why is there different durabilities? Is it needed?
It is needed. When you're throwing a driver, you will have a lot of speed into the disc. You're also gripping the disc very, very hard when you're throwing it really, really fast. So the grip isn't that important, or the feel of the disc isn't that important. You want that to be durable, because if you're learning a disc, you want it to stay like that for many months ahead. It all depends on how hard you're gonna throw it. A driver is meant to be thrown hard. A mid-range or a putter isn't really made for that.
So these are the extremes here. You have the retroplastic and the Opto-X plastic.
Yeah, the Opto-X. I
durability.
I think this is the most durable plastic we have in the production. But it's a tiny difference between the Opto Gold and everything in the high end.
I bought a starter set. When is the shit threshold for like the retroplastic then? Boop.
If you're playing in a park environment, then you can pretty much have a retro all over the place, because you're not just gonna hit one big oak. The shit threshold is when it has like a hole in it, because then it's not legal. You can't have a hole in a disc. But usually a beginner doesn't care about that, because they're not gonna compete with it.
They have like 3 holes, so there's gonna be like a bowling ball and throw it like this.
Yeah.
By far, most people asked about this. Does color change stability of a disc?
Yes, it could. It could. It's like, it's not a myth, but not as much today as it's used to do in our production. Color comes in a pellet. It's a pre-blended color with a polymer, the plastic that carries the pigment into the other plastic.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know how many orange we have tried. I don't know how many pink we have tried. If you're producing this river in yellow, it should look the same in the orange.
Is there a color what is the best color?
Usually the transparent are the most stable ones. Discs.
Okay.
My experience tells me that the lighter color, the more stable the disc will be. Of course, it's mostly a mental thing, because if you like the disc, you like the look of the disc, then it's gonna be your baby.
Let's say you have a river, 3-4 different plastics. The river has 77-1-1 in flight numbers.
Yeah.
Why not have different flight numbers then, if it's different stability-wise? I can answer that, I think.
Okay.
I'm already
Go ahead.
confused by flight numbers.
Yeah, me too.
And if we're gonna have more flight numbers on the same disc, I would probably lose my mind. Don't make different flight numbers for the same disc, even though they fly a bit differently, depending on the plastic. Can you talk about recycled plastic? We call it biogold. Now this is a fuse.
Yeah.
Bye fuse.
It's just a plastic that is regrinded, that if a disc doesn't, get approved in the quality check, we regrind the plastic and, mold it again. Let's see, this is a molecule chain.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Here's the one mineral that makes the disc dry or stiff. Okay, this is for flex, and this is for grip. When you're regrinding, you're also cutting off that molecule chain, and you will make the plastic less durable. It will have a slightly different, both a different feel to it. It will be a little bit more like flexy or gummy. With the bio, you can break it in a little bit faster because of that molecule chains. We have some sustainable plastic in the zero line.
Oh, the eco-plastic.
The eco plastic,
Oh, yeah.
yes. there's nothing
Yeah.
right and wrong in this. It's always comes down to you and the home course you're playing on. If you're playing on a really rough course, then I would say go with except the putters, go with the best high-end plastic you can find.
If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. We'd love to have you here. And in the meantime, go out there and touch a lot of discs.